Right. Very good morning to you one and all. Today we discuss about indifference curve. This is very important topic for your examination point of view also. Properties of indifference curve and how the consumer is equilibrium under the indifference curve. These two concepts are very important for your examination point of view. Right. So here we are going to discuss. There are no indifference schedule, indifference map, marginal rate of substitution, assumptions of indifference curve analysis, and properties of indifference curve. Indifference curve slopes, why it is downward from left to right, and why it is convex to the origin. Okay, and why indifference curve do not intersect each other, and why it is not in a vertical or not in horizontal. So this we are going to discuss. When we observe particularly
Sir,
the
sir. Good morning, sir.
very good morning.
Sir, PPT not available, sir.
PPT, I'll give you in the next class.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Yeah, sure. So here we are talking about indifference curve. This is important topic for your examination point of view. Okay. So here, when we observe regarding utility function, okay, as we have seen, utility can be measured in terms of numerical numbers based on cardinal approach, which is given by Marshall. But there is a criticism because the utility we cannot measure in terms of numerical numbers, but we can compare first one or first commodity has given more satisfaction than the second one, or second one is given more to compare to the third one. Likewise, we can compare the satisfaction, but we cannot measure in terms of numerical numbers. This cardinal approach criticized by various economists, and ordinal approach also there. Ordinal approach based on the satisfaction we cannot measure in terms of numerical numbers, but we can compare which one is giving more satisfaction than the another commodity. If you utilize, if you use more, if you do 1, 2, 3, 4, y, okay. So among these 5, which one is giving more satisfaction, we can tell based on the comparison. Okay. So here, this indifference curves approach or analysis based on the ordinal approach. Okay, based on ordinal approach. Particularly, these indifference curves are related to the consumer behavior, how the consumer is going to be purchased two commodities within his given income. Okay, so at the same time, we have to remember which commodity is giving more satisfaction, which one is giving less. We can easily compare according to ordinal approach. This indifference curve analysis at first developed by or formulated by Edgeworth in 1881. Okay, this technique, this indifference curve analysis formulated by Edgeworth in 1881. Later, there are various economists, they applied this indifference curve for their analysis purpose. But when we observe this indifference curve, which is developed by, okay, JRX, this indifference curve approach or analysis developed by JRX, in his book, he has written one book that is Value and Capital. The book is Value and Capital, which is published in 1939. JRX developed this indifference curve analysis. Okay, JRX, this indifference curve analysis developed. He has written a book, Value and Capital. In his book, he explained about the indifference curve analysis. Okay, that is clear. So here, the concept which we are talking about, the indifference curve analysis. The indifference curve analysis, particularly, okay, uh, there are certain assumptions are there. There, this indifference curve analysis, when we are talking about, the consumer has to purchase or consume two commodities. Based generally, we express the commodities X commodity and Y commodity. He has to purchase two commodities. This is like no condition or whatever it may be. We can say that he has to purchase two commodities, X commodity and Y commodity. At the same time, if one commodity is purchasing more, he has to reduce the another commodity. Okay, what does it mean? If consumer wants to purchase X commodities more, he has to purchase or consume less commodities of Y. X purchasing more, Y less. Any combination, if he is purchasing with given income, it gives the same level of satisfaction for the consumer. For example, combination A, B, C, D, E. Okay, A combination X commodities is purchasing only one commodity, and Y commodities is purchasing 30. For example, X is 1, Y is 30. This level is giving some amount of satisfaction. That is one side. If he wants to increase the X, at the same time, he has to decrease the Y commodity. So this is B combination. B combination, Y is purchasing 24 and X is purchasing 2. Earlier, X only 1. Now he is purchasing two commodities, two X commodities, and Y is 32, 24. That means Y commodities decreased. This level also, this B combination 2X and 24Y also give same level of satisfaction to the consumer. Same level of satisfaction to the consumer. So here, C combination, when we observe, 3 X commodities and 19 Y commodities. When we observe this also, okay, he is getting same level of satisfaction. Here you have to remember whatever the combination is purchasing with his given limited income, that gives same level of satisfaction to him. Any combination, whether, but you have to remember one is increasing means the another one has to decrease. That you have to remember. And another thing, this indifference curve, higher the indifference curve gives higher level of satisfaction than the lower the indifference curve. It's may I share this? Yeah, this is we are talking about. Is it visible now?
Sir, yes, sir.
Yeah, this is fine. We are talking about, indifference curve. As I said, the combinations, there are different combinations are there. These are the A combination, B, C, D, E combinations. Okay. A combination, when he is going to be purchased, this X commodity is 1 and Y commodity is 30. Okay. how much satisfaction is getting the consumer while while consuming these two commodities. At the same time, B combination also gives same level of satisfaction. Or C also is increasing the commodities X, at the same time decreasing the commodities Y, commodity is decreasing. Okay, so here if you consider the F combination, 6 X commodities purchasing and Y is 9 commodities. This gives same level of satisfaction. This is, we are talking about, this is indifference schedule. This indifference schedule, when you add this point, Y commodities at first, you know, at section A, X commodity is 1 and this is 30, actually 30. Okay, and B combination, one here X commodity is 2 and this one is 24. If we add all these points A, B, C, D, E combination, we get indifference curve. Okay, this is, we call it as indifference curve. If we add all these points, section point A, B, C, D, E, if we touch all these points, we get indifference curve. We call it as indifference curve. Then indifference map. Now this is, as I said, when we observe IC1, what does it mean? Indifference curve 1, indifference curve 2, indifference curve 3, this one. Between these indifference curves, indifference 1 to 2, 2 to 3, n numbers between these curves, n number of indifference curve will be available. Okay. So here we have to remember here one thing. Higher the indifference curve give higher level of satisfaction, lower the indifference curve give lower level of satisfaction. So here IC3 gives more satisfaction than the IC2 because it is higher, and IC2 gives more satisfaction than the IC1 because IC1 is lower, IC2 is greater, upper, right? So you have to remember higher indifference curve give higher level of satisfaction, lower one is gives lower level of satisfaction. That is clear.
Okay, sir.
Rate of substitution X for Y. What does it mean? As I said, if one increasing, another one has to decrease. Okay. So the marginal rate of substitution of X for Y is defined. The number of units of good Y that must be given up. Given up means going to be lose. Okay. Given up in exchange for the extra unit of X. Okay. So let's say the slope of indifference curve change in Y by change in X, that we call it as marginal rate of substitution for X and Y. Okay. So here combinations we have seen before. So A combination, see, for example, A combination X commodity is purchasing 1 and Y commodity is purchasing 12. B combination, we want to increase the commodity X, at the same time we have to lose Y commodity. So here combination B, X commodity he increased and the another has to, as I said, given up. Okay, Y has to given up. What does it mean? He is going to be lose the Y commodities due to increasing the X commodity. This level also gives the same level of satisfaction. That is, we have to remember. So marginal rate of substitution, how much the variation from the 12 to 8, it is clearly showing 8 is the 4 is the differentiation from the 12 to 8. 4 is the differentiation. That we call it as marginal rate of substitution. 1 is going to be increased. For increasing of one commodity, how much the Y commodity is losing? That is marginal rate of no substitution for X and Y. So here there are different combinations are there. C combination, again 1 increased and Y has to decrease. So how much the differentiation from 8 to 5? 3. 3 is the marginal rate of marginal rate of substitution for X and Y. X for Y. Same D combination also increased 4 and this. When we observe the marginal rate of substitution, this is decreasing rate. See, 4 to 3, 3 to 2, 2 to 1. This is decreasing due to increasing the X commodity. Y is no going to be given up because X is increasing. Y has to decrease, that you have to remember. Okay. Then there are assumptions are there, certain assumptions are there, particularly rationality, rational behavior. Who is rational behavior? Consumer. I am a consumer. If I am spending 1 rupee or extra 1 rupee, from that extra money, I have to feel I have to get maximum level of satisfaction. Okay, every consumer, if they are going to be spend some amount of money, from that additional money or from that money, he has to get maximum level of satisfaction. He thinks like that. That is, we call it as rational behavior. Okay, then that is fine. Then another one is ordinal utility. As I said, this indifference curve analysis based on ordinal approach. This indifference curve analysis based on uh, ordinal utility. What does it mean? The utility or the satisfaction from the commodities, we can uh, compare, but we cannot say in terms of numerical numbers. So it is based on the ordinal approach. This indifference curve are based on the ordinal approach. Okay, that is the another side. Consistency. Here, the indifference curve analysis, particularly the consumer is consistent in his behavior. What does it mean? He prefers which bundle, A bundle to B bundle. When we are comparing, so which bundle is giving more, which bundle is giving less satisfaction, he can compare easily. And transitivity. When we are talking about the transitivity, consumer, as I said, purchasing commodities like a combination, A combination, B combination, C combination. If the combination is A to B and moving B to C, if A is giving more than the B, he prefer A. If B is giving compared to C, he moves B. And if C is giving more, then A to B, B to C. Okay, the combinations he prefers, which combination is giving more satisfaction. Okay, and non-satiety, what does it mean? The consumer always prefer more commodity to less, more commodity to less. This assumption, the consumer prefers more to less, that what does it mean? If the consumer is preferring more commodity of X, he has to lose the Y commodity. Okay, and weak ordering. Another one is two commodities. The consumer has to, this is the conditions, assumptions we are telling. Okay, we are assuming based on these assumptions, this indifference curves work. Okay, we are assuming there are two commodities are there, and these two commodities X and Y, both has to consume these two commodities, and these prices of these commodities are constant. Prices of these two commodities are constant, and income of the consumer also be constant. Okay, that is the condition. And a diminishing marginal rate of substitution. Diminishing marginal rate of substitution. When we are substituting one for one commodity to another commodities, that marginal rate of substitution is decreasing. As I said earlier, marginal rate of substitution is X commodity is increasing, Y commodities. For increasing of this X commodity, how much the Y commodities is going to be lose, that is diminishing rate of substitution. 3, 4 to 3, 3 to 2, 2 to 1. Just now we have seen the diagram. right? So that is marginal rate of substitution for X commodity to Y commodity. And indifference curve is convex to the origin. Okay, because of this assumption, one is increasing, another one has to decrease. This is the reason why indifference curve are convex to the origin, not concave to the origin, convex to the origin. That you have to remember. And indifference curve are perfect substitute and complements. Then when we observe the perfect substitutes, okay, as we know that complementary goods and substitute goods. Substitute goods, one commodity for another alternative commodity we can use, and the almost the satisfaction from this substitute commodity will be same. For example, tea and coffee, these are the best example for the substitute goods. Generally, when daily, for example, you are having a habit of taking coffee daily, regularly you are taking coffee. If you go somewhere, if the coffee is not available in a particular place, then automatically you prefer tea, but the satisfaction you may get the same. Okay, these are the substitute goods. What about the complementary goods? Complementary goods, if you are consuming or if you are purchasing one commodity, another commodity you have to purchase. Another commodity you have to purchase. For example, if you are purchasing milk packet, you have to purchase sugar also, right? Without sugar, milk, there is no use of, right? At the same time, complementary goods, car and petrol, best examples, car and petrol. If you are purchasing car, at the same time, you have to purchase petrol also. Only car you are purchasing without petrol, there is no use of, right? So these are the complementary, one depending on the another commodity. Car, if you are purchasing this petrol, you have to purchase, right? So that is complementary goods. So in perfect substitutes, if these two goods are perfect substitute if each other, that no, we can substitute for the each other, as I said. Okay, pen and ball pen, then when which we can use. So in this case, okay, the straight line of the downward from left to right. If the commodities are what we say uh, substitutes, perfect substitute, particularly, okay, if the commodities are perfectly substitute, then the indifference curves are straight line from the left to right, like this. Indifference curves are left to right from this curves we call as indifference curve. If it is complementary commodities, okay, complementary goods, in the case of complementary goods, the indifference curve become L shape. See the L shape. These are the indifference curve. Okay, and this is all about the complementary and substitute goods. This is very important topic for your examination point of view. Properties of indifference curves. Properties of indifference curve. There are few properties are there. Generally, when we talk about the properties, first one is indifference curve slopes downward from left to right. Indifference curves are downward from left to right. Okay, as I say, because why it is left to right, one is increasing, another one is decreasing. Just now we have seen indifference map, right? So the car should not be like this. This is backward bending, or we call it as uh, concave. This is concave, but the graph should not be like this. This curve should not be like this. Convex to the origin, like this. Convex to the origin. It should not be like this. Convex to the origin. Why it is convex to the origin? As I said, one X commodity is increasing, Y commodity has to decrease. Or Y commodities, if you are increasing, X commodity has to decrease. That is the reason why it is convex to the origin, and it slopes the downward slope from left to right. That you have to remember. Indifference curve slopes downwards from left to right. That you remember. And another one, the indifference curves are not in a horizontal. This is the horizontal and this one is vertical. Okay, indifference curves are not horizontal shape, are not vertical shape. Why it is not like this? Okay, ఇలా ఉంటుంది అని రాయకూడదు, ఉండదు అని రాయాలి. You remember that. Okay, indifference curves are not like this, not horizontal to the x-axis, not vertical to the y-axis. You remember this logic. Why? As I said earlier, we discussed also, if one commodity is increasing means another commodity has to decrease. This is the condition. Okay, but here Y commodity, OA amount of Y commodity consumer is purchasing అనుకుందాం. Okay, at the same time X commodity is increasing, combination up to O to A point, up to O to B point, C point, D point, E point. Okay, this is like infinitive side. Okay, any combination we can purchase from the X commodity, because this is A combination, B combination, C combination, D combination, E combination. From A to B means X commodity is increasing, C combination X commodity is increasing, D combination O to D this point increasing, O to E this point. X commodity is increasing. There is a possibility to increase the X commodity, but Y is constant. O to A, this much only Y is purchasing, but X can purchase up to A or B or C, D, E. While changing X, what does it mean? While increasing X commodity, Y has to decrease, because X is increasing. Earlier we have seen the table. But here it is constant. It is opposite for the law of or assumptions, law of this indifference curve. So that is the reason why the indifference curves are not in a horizontal shape. Getting my point? Here one increasing means another one has to decrease. But in this diagram, this first diagram, X may be chance to increase. X increasing means Y has to decrease, but Y is constant up to A. There is no possibility to change, increase or decrease, right? That is the reason why indifference curves are not in a horizontal shape. At the same time, indifference curves are not in a vertical position. Not vertical position, I'm telling. These are vertical position. If you are writing vertical position, indifference curves are vertical position, then you are going to be lose marks. Indifference curves are not in a position horizontal, not in a position of vertical axis. Okay, why not vertical axis is same? Y commodities can change, but X is constant, unable to change X commodity. Earlier first diagram, Y is constant, X can change up to B, C, D, E. Okay, n number of changes can happen. But here in this vertical axis, X commodity, okay, it is constant up to O2, it may, for example, OX. Okay, if it is putting X, OX amount of X commodity is purchasing, but Y, O to A, O to B, O to C, O to D, O to E. Y can increase, but X we are not decreasing. This is also reverse for the law of indifference curve. What is the condition? If one increasing means another has to decrease, but in this diagram, Y can be changed, increase, but X cannot be unable to change. That is the reason why these indifference curves are not in a vertical position. That you have to remember. And another one is, as I said, indifference curves are convex to the origin. Convex to the origin. This we say convex to the origin. Concave. This first diagram we say it is concave. It will not be like this. This wrong diagram. ఇలా ఉండదని చెప్తున్నాం మనం. ఎలా ఉంటుంది అంటున్నాము? Convex to the origin. It should be like this. Okay. So concave, this diagram should not be a concave. Okay. So convex to the origin. Why it is convex to the origin? Why we are telling? Because the slope of the indifference curve changes in the x due to changes in the y. Okay, as I said earlier, if one commodity increasing, that is x commodity, due to increasing x commodity, y has to be given up. Okay, that means going to be lose y commodity. That is the reason why it is convex to the origin. This is also another property. These two properties are very important. And another important property is indifference curve can never intersect each other. Cannot intersect. Intersect means touching. Cannot be touch each other. See these two diagrams. Okay. Why? Because why these two are not intersect each other? There is a reason. As I said before, higher the indifference curve give higher level of satisfaction, lower the indifference curve give lower level of satisfaction. That you have to remember. So here, this indifference curve can never intersect each other. These two cannot intersect each other. Okay, that we have to remember. Why these two are not intersect? Because as I said, a higher level indifference curve give higher level of satisfaction, lower one give lower level of satisfaction. That you remember. See, this IC1, this is IC1, see the diagram, and this one is IC2, see the diagram. Okay. Upper part, just you observe, IC1 is above and IC2 is lower. That is clear. But you observe the after intersect each other. See this diagram. IC2 is above, IC1 is below. Earlier, this upper part, IC1 is above, IC2 is below. But when we coming to this point, IC2 is above, IC1 is below. Getting my point? So here, any combination, any point of this indifference curve gives the same level of satisfaction. That is one side. That what does it mean? This is, as I said, indifference curve 1. This point or this point or this combination or this point, this point, this point, this point or this point. This indifference curves gives same level of satisfaction of any point of that particular curve. Same this indifference 2 also, either this point or this point, any point gives same level of satisfaction. That you have to remember. Here, as I said, higher indifference curve give higher satisfaction than the lower. IC curve between this up to C, above C point, these two we observe first. So IC1 is greater than the IC2. This IC1 is above the IC2. That is clear. What does it mean? This part up to this part, IC1 is giving more satisfaction than the IC2 because higher the indifference curve give higher level of satisfaction, lower the indifference curve give lower level of satisfaction. That is the reason why this 2 is giving less satisfaction than the IC1 because IC1 is above, right? That is one side. But coming to this below point, again when we compare the IC2 and IC1, IC1 is giving less satisfaction than the IC2 because IC2 is above than the IC1. But you have to remember, at any point of any IC curve, give same level of satisfaction as I said. But here, when these two intersect, giving different satisfactions. IC1, earlier it gives more satisfaction. But comparing to this, after intersecting, it is giving less satisfaction. Because as I said, above indifference curve give higher level of satisfaction, below the indifference curve give lower level of satisfaction. But at any point of cost, this curve gives the same level of satisfaction. This same level of satisfaction. So that is the reason why these two are not intersect. These two are not intersect. Getting my point? That is the reason why. If they intersect each other, same curve giving different level of satisfaction. Same level of giving different level of satisfaction they are giving. That is the reason why these two are not intersect each other. These two are not intersect each other. You have to remember. Here, as I said, indifference curve represent a high level of satisfaction and vice versa. This first one is IC1 S. The second one IC2 SAR. R indifference curve 2 is giving more satisfaction than the IC1 because, as I said, we are assuming this is one of the property. Higher the indifference curve gives a higher level of satisfaction, lower the indifference curve give lower level of satisfaction. So S indifference curve, that is IC1, gives less satisfaction than the IC2, that is R indifference curve, gives more level of satisfaction. That you have to remember. This is very important for your examination point of view. Maximum question will be there. Then another indifference curve property, another property, indifference curve do not touch the X or Y axis. Either these two indifference curves do not touch the horizontal X or vertical axis. This like, so it is not touching the Y axis, not touching the X axis. Why it like this? Why it cannot be? Why we are telling it should not be touch Y, it should not be touch X, Y, because just you remember, if it is touching the Y axis, okay, like B point, okay, if it is touching only Y axis, this IC2 only touching B and this IC1 touching only X, right? Because if it is touching A X axis, okay, this A combination X, that means the consumer only purchasing X commodities only, is not purchasing Y. But it is opposite for the law of no indifference curve. As I said earlier, the consumer has to purchase two commodities X and Y. If it is touching X, only purchasing X commodity. If it is touching only Y, only purchasing Y. This is a different law, okay, right? So that is the reason why it is not touching the Y-axis. It is not touching the X-axis. If it is touched Y, only Y commodities are purchasing. If it is touching A, only X commodities are going to be purchased. Getting my point? So that is the reason why indifference curves are not touch Y, indifference curves are not touch X-axis. Okay, that is the reason why indifference curve do not touch the horizontal. Horizontal means X-axis or vertical axis means Y-axis. This, it is not going to be touched. Clear why it is? If it is touched, what will happen? As I said, if it is touching Y-axis, okay, if it is touching Y-axis, only purchasing Y commodities, not purchasing X. He has to purchase two commodities, whether the combinations increasing, decreasing, doesn't matter, okay? But he has to purchase two commodities. So here, if it is touching Y, only purchasing Y commodity. If it is touching X, only X commodities purchasing. That you have to remember. Budget line. This is important for your examination point of view for short question. Okay. So budget line. Say budget line, it represents all the combinations of two commodities which can be purchased by the consumer with a given income level is called as budget line. What does it mean? a given income. For example, the consumer is having, some amount of money. Okay, with that limited amount, how much he is going to spend these two commodities X and Y, that represents the budget line. That is clear. Okay. So see, for example, this is alternative purchase of possibilities. If a given limited income, how much is going to be purchase X commodities and Y commodities? See, if he is spending the total amount on only Y, he may get only Y commodities. Okay, only Y commodities and X commodities are zero. X commodities are zero. And if he wants to purchase X commodity at the same time Y commodity, okay, then he can allocate his limited income, given income, how much he will get, Y commodity, how much he is going to be get X commodity. For example, two X commodities and four Y commodities are going to be purchased. If we see another one X commodity, if he wants to increase, six commodities are X and Y commodities are two. Okay. This, when we observe this drastically decreasing due to increasing of X commodities. This has to be, if one has increasing means another commodity has to decrease. That you have to remember. That is the reason why. So this is budget line. We call it as budget line. So change in money income and the budget line. If income increases, for example, initial this budget line A, B is initial budget line. If your income is means consumers income increases, their budget line shift to upward. A1, B1 to A2, B2. If again increases his income level, that means is going to be purchased X commodities more, at the same time Y commodities more due to increasing the income level. So budget line also shift upward. That you have to remember. Then this is another, the like, if the when the price of Y falls, X remaining constant. Y commodity prices decreases, X remaining constant. If price of X commodity is constant, Y commodity is decreasing means, okay, uh, the consumer get more commodities. That is the reason why initial A1 to L one combination, due to decreasing the price of the Y commodity, this Y commodity is going to be purchased more. The same L and A2. This is clear. Due to decreasing the price of Y commodity, it is purchasing more OA1 to OA2. Here, if the price of the Y commodity is constant, that means there is no changes in the Y commodity. If the price of the commodity, that X commodity decreases, if decreases means it is, right? So that is the reason why they say this diagram. OA amount of Y commodity purchasing with his limited income. If price of X commodities decreases, we can purchase more X commodities due to decreasing of the price. See, this is A B1 combination, A B2 combination, A B3 combination. This is decreased because it X commodity price decreases, he can purchase more commodities. That is the reason why these are the A B1, A B2, A B3. It is shifting upward. With purchasing more X commodity, that is the reason why it is right now. Consumers equilibrium. Consumers equilibrium. This is don't. This is another important topic. Okay, this is another important topic. Sorry. So consumers equilibrium. Consumers equilibrium. So This is also important for your examination point of view. These two topics are important from this lesson. Don't add. So here, consumer's equilibrium, which refers to the satisfaction where the consumer derives maximum level of satisfaction. Okay, that point of view, the satisfaction can be explained with the help of the indifference curve. How the consumer is going to be get maximum level of satisfaction with the help of the two commodities, X and Y commodities are purchasing, and with the help of the indifference curve, we can derive at this point of view, the consumer is going to be get maximum level of satisfaction. It clearly shows. So here, the combination, when we observe this diagram, before that, there are certain assumptions are there. Based on these assumptions, this can be understood easily. The first one is consumer is, uh, assumed to be rational, in the sense, as I said, rational behavior consumer. What does it mean? Consumer, if he is spending some amount of money, from that money, he has to get maximum level of satisfaction. He feels like that. Every single rupee, he has to get maximum level of satisfaction. That is rational behavior. That is one side. And consumer, as a given indifference map, and the scale of preferences for various combinations of X and commodity and Y commodity. There are different scales are there, different preferences are there. From that preferences, any combination gives no same level of satisfaction. Any combination he can choose. And his another assumption, he has fixed amount of money to spend for the two goods. Okay, he has fixed amount. What does it mean? Given income, there is no increasing or there is no decreasing the income levels. Income is constant. If income is changing, increasing level, then these combinations also, the satisfaction levels also different. So that is the reason why we are assuming assumptions. These are the assumptions. Assuming that this income is constant. That is one side. And also prices of the two commodities are given. As what does it mean? The prices of two commodities are given and constant. X commodities price, Y commodities price, these prices are fixed. There is no changes in X commodities price, Y commodities price. Again, if these prices are changing, then the satisfaction levels will be different. So that is the reason why we are assuming, these are the assumptions. X, Y commodities prices are constant. There is no changes in the given X commodity price and Y commodity prices. That you have to remember. And the goods are divisible and homogeneous commodities. These goods are the divisible and homogeneous. Homogeneous products means same level of same kind of commodities. Okay, that you have to remember. So there is a one condition, as I said, marginal rate of substitution for X and Y. The price of the commodity X and the price of one commodity. Okay, change in price of X commodity by Y commodity prices. That you have to remember coming to this point. Here, B and L, as you are just you observe this line, B and L, that is budget line for the consumer. How the consumer is going to be get equilibrium point with the highest satisfaction with the help of the two commodities, that is X commodity and Y commodity. Okay, so here in Y axis Y commodity and X axis X commodities are going to be purchased. See this R and H, S and T and Q and IC1, IC2, IC3 and IC4. Okay, if we observe this, for example, this IC1, the combination at H, budget line BL is budget line, R and H when we observe, see, if he wants to purchase the Y commodity and X commodities, still this is BL, still is surplus amount of money if he purchase this R and H. So what does it mean? Still he is having, because this is budget line is this one, beyond this, below the budget line means he is having some amount of money. With his amount of money, again, he wants to purchase, right? That is why. So he don't want to purchase this combination. R and H, he don't want to purchase combination because some amount of money is remaining with his. Okay. So again, this S and T combination, if he wants to, this like this Y combination and this T combination is X, T combination is X. So still is having some amount of money, right? So that is the reason why, again, there is a chance to get more commodities, this X and Y, because budget line is this. This indifference curve, just remember this. This indifference curve should not intersect. Okay, it has to tangent the budget line. Indifference curve should not intersect. It has to tangent the budget line. This first IC1 is intersecting. Second IC1 is intersecting. The IC3, just you observe at point of Q, it is not intersecting. It is tangenting the budget line. Where the IC curve tangent the budget line, there consumer is going to be get maximum level of satisfaction. See, at R point, it is not tangenting, it is intersecting. At H point also it is intersecting. At S point of view also it is intersecting. At T point also it is intersecting. Right? So where it is tangenting the budget line, at Q point of time, here at point of Q, this point, okay? The Q point, indifference curve is tangenting the budget line. So at this point, consumer is going to be get maximum level of satisfaction with purchasing of these X commodities OM amount and Y commodities are ON amount of Y commodity they are going to purchase. With this combination, consumer is going to be get maximum level of satisfaction. Maximum level of satisfaction. Yeah, I think this is clear. We discussed, so far we discussed what is indifference curve, what is indifference map, what are the properties of indifference curve, why the indifference curve not in vertical shape, why indifference curve is not in horizontal, why indifference curve not touch y-axis, why it not touch x-axis. I have explained, different reasons are there. Indifference curve should be, horizontal to the x-axis. If it is complementary L shape, if it is, perfectly substitute, it is straight line from downward, left to right, from left to right downward. So these are the topic we have discussed so far, and this how the consumer equilibrium also we have seen. Is it clear?
Hello,
Clear,
sir.
sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, important questions చెప్పరా?
Important questions ఇస్తానమ్మా నేను last class రోజు ఇస్తా, because still we are having some units, right? After discussing all these units, I'll give you important questions. That questions only in your examination point of view లో వస్తాయి. ఓకేనా?
సార్ సార్
Ah.
ఎగ్జామ్ లో క్వశ్చన్ ఆన్సర్స్ ఈ డయాగ్రామ్స్ ఇవన్నీ ఉంటాయా సార్?
ఉంటాయి. నేను చెప్తా మీకు. ఇప్పుడు ఇండిఫరెన్స్ ప్రాపర్టీస్ గురించి మనం డిస్కస్ చేసినాం కదా.
అవును సార్.
ప్రాపర్టీస్ y అక్షానికి సమాంతరంగా ఉండదు అని చెప్పిన, ఎందుకో
అవును
రీజన్
సార్.
చెప్పిన.
అవును
ఎక్స్
సార్.
అక్షానికి సమాంతరంగా ఉండదు ఇండిఫరెన్స్ కర్వ్ అన్న, ఎందుకో రీజన్ చెప్పిన. నువ్వు ఉండదు అని చెప్పి ఆ డయాగ్రామ్ వేయాలి.
అచ్చా.
కాన్వెక్స్ టు ది ఆరిజిన్ అని చెప్పాలా, కాన్వెక్స్ టు ది ఆరిజిన్ ఎలా ఉందో చూపించిన డయాగ్రామ్ అలా ఉంటది అని చెప్పేసి రాయాలి. ఎక్స్ అక్షాన్ని తాకదు అని చెప్పినాము, ఆ డయాగ్రామ్ ఇట్లా దాన్ని ఇండిఫరెన్స్ కర్వ్ టచ్ చేయాలి, ఇలా ఉండదు అని రాయాలి. ఓకే,
ఓకే. ఓకే సార్.
మైక్రో ఎకనామిక్స్ బేస్డ్ ఆన్ డయాగ్రామ్స్. రిమెంబర్, ఇది మైక్రో ఎకనామిక్స్ మనం డిస్కస్ చేస్తా ఉన్నాము. సో ఇట్ ఈస్ బేస్డ్ ఆన్ ది డయాగ్రామ్.
ఓకే సార్.
నేను ఇంపార్టెంట్ క్వశ్చన్స్ ఇస్తే అవి మీరు ఫోకస్ చేసుకోండి. అవే క్వశ్చన్స్ 90% వస్తాయి మీకు ఎగ్జామినేషన్ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ వ్యూలో. కానీ ఆ క్వశ్చన్స్ నేను ఆఫ్టర్ ది కంప్లీషన్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ సిలబస్ ఐ విల్ గివ్ యూ ఇంపార్టెంట్. లాస్ట్ డే ఇస్తా. ఓకే.
ఓకే సార్.
రైట్, ఐఎమ్ గోయింగ్ టు క్లోజ్ నౌ.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్.